and there's no pointing fingers to somebody else because we all carry our own sins.
Mm.
So,
You
and
go
going to hell by playing the blues. So,
you go down together, I understand in that.
yeah, yes, that's it.
Planet Guitar is delighted today to chat with Finnish guitarist, vocalist, and songwriter Arja Lyytinen. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Last time we spoke, you were so busy that I had to interview you while you were traveling in a tour van.
That might happen. I like to be on the road and while promoting your new music, you just have to take the time wherever you are. You might be sitting in the bus, sitting in the backstage, uh, going on stage, whatever. So,
Are you
it's a
are you
lot of happening.
are you a little less busy now, or are you as busy?
Well, as soon as we finish, I will go to the next interview. So it is a bit of like this at the moment, but you know how it is. You just finally got the product ready, after writing and recording, mixing and mastering, and then you have the final product, it's ready, but then you start all the marketing and promoting and all that. So and then the tour starts out as well. So it's busy times, but I like being busy. It makes me feel alive. So I don't
Uh-huh.
mind.
Cool. If your album Another World was stepping into new territory musically and spiritually, and Waiting for the Daylight explored layering, how does your new album Smell the Roses differ?
Well, I think this one is quite straightforward. It's I would describe it's hard rock album. It has a lot of those vibes from 1960s and 70s, and that's what I was kind of going to. And I told my mixing engineer to find that kind of sound for the album, and the band instrumentation is quite it's like a basic rock band instrumentation, really. Electric guitar, bass, drums, and Hammond organ, and that's it. Well, of course, vocals, but it's like very straightforward, quite simple, and it's punchy. I think it's edgy. I was aiming to, I was writing songs and I wanted the lyrics to be edgier. They are more courageous, you could probably say, compared to some of my previous albums. It might be the fact that I'm more experienced nowadays and I have more confidence, so I'm not too afraid to express how I feel or what I want to say or what I want to sing about. So no filters. And talking about the production as well on this one, uh, I wanted to keep it quite simple. So on the previous studio albums, we had lots of guitar tracks, lots of backing vocals. I've had string arrangements on the Waiting for the Daylight album. So there was a shitloads of layers everywhere and it was quite polished and all that. But with this album, I wanted to be more organic about everything. So even when I was doing the guitar parts, people know me that when I play live on stage, I use a lot of pedals. But on this one, I hardly did.
Ah,
So I plugged in straight to my Mesa Boogie F30. It's an old head, and I didn't even have much of reverb on the head, or if there's any delays and such, those have been added afterwards. So my sound was also quite raw and organic while playing with the guitar. So I think you can probably hear that if you compare the previous studio album. So this is more punch in your face, so to speak.
you're known for your Eric Johnson signature 2009 and turquoise custom shop Fender. Did you use those again this time?
Actually, I didn't use my Eric Johnson Stratocaster on this one. I was using quite a lot of my Ruokangas guitars, the Finnish luthier Juha Ruokangas, who made these to me. And the both of the guitars they have quite thin neck, which kind of have given me more possibilities to play faster and more advanced guitar techniques. So it has definitely those guitars have shaped my playing. And I still use Stratocasters, especially when I play slide guitar. I have Fender custom shop guitars, few of them here in my studio, and but yeah, but there was I remember that I used my road worn Fender custom shop guitar on the song Abyss, which is like one of the heaviest songs on the album, probably the heaviest I ever written. It has this very um, heavy guitar riff, and I played in a drop D tuning to get that kind of heavy feeling on the song. So yeah, so I could say that there has been changes since the last studio album for sure, and it does amaze even me that now when I'm being getting asked about these things, and I realized that yes, there has definitely been again there has been a development and a change in my playing, and I think that's just great.
Yeah, I love Abyss as well. I know that's one of your favorite tracks on the album.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
I know you've played bass and piano and drums, maybe some other instruments as well. Do you play any of those on this album?
No, I only played guitar and vocals. Only guitar and vocal tracks they are done by me, and then I had a bass player, a drummer, and a Hammond player in the studio working with me. Those are actually my touring guys, so easy to work with and so on. So it is a band album, I would say. Yeah.
Uh-huh. The opening track, Smell the Roses, is about remembering the beauty in the world. Can you remember your feelings when you wrote that?
Yeah, I do remember because I came up with the sentence "smell the roses, bitch," because I wanted to kind of, you know, to point out that fact that like, hey, come on, we all would have everything better if we would be content and remember that we have a lot of good in our lives. And why is it so that even if you have a lot, you have power, you get uh, money and all that, and still you want more? So this greediness, why do we have it, and why do we have to make make every day like a struggle? Because it's good to stop and really smell the roses and enjoy what you have at the moment. And so this is a reminder for all of us, and yeah, and it's a catchy song. I think it has a nice guitar riff. At least it's fun. It's been fun to play it, and again in this song as well. When you go to chorus, there's quite heavy guitars behind the vocals. So yeah,
But then you follow it with the track Going to Hell. So you keep your fans on their toes with this the
yes.
messaging.
Well, it's you're writing an album, and it takes at least few months to write the song. So of course you go through different kind of feelings. So going to hell is like, yeah, that's a it's a interesting title, isn't it? And I the song it starts with this progressive guitar riff, and it goes in the straight field 4 4 4, and then when you come to the first refrain, it goes to blues, like
Huh.
like slow blues, and it is progressive track, and I was thinking when I wrote it that how people will receive it because it is such a different song that I've ever done. But then again, that's how I felt, and it's like you go to hell, and you see you can feel the flames going in the intro and outro, and then you go to that singing part about why you are gonna go to hell. Yeah. So it's the feeling kind of a there. You're struggling with somebody who's probably put you down,
Mm.
saying that you are worse than he or she is. But then again, So is he or she. So it's not there's no pointing fingers to somebody else because we all carry our own sins.
Hmm.
So
You
and
go
going to hell by playing the blues. So
you go down together, I understand in that.
yeah, yes, that's it.
My particular favorite is Stony Creek. Could you tell us about its lyrical and musical development?
Oh, I like that song too. It has it has an interesting story in it, and it's quite cinematic. And it's funny to analyze your own songs afterwards you've written them. But I had this story in my head about a woman going to the woods for a hiking trips. That's what I actually do a lot in my personal private time.
Mm.
And then she's getting this like a call from the river. She doesn't know really what it is, but she's just enjoying the nature and being there. And then something sudden happens, and she falls down uh, to the river bank. And the story doesn't tell it frankly that if she's being pushed there or maybe she just fell off.
Okay.
But it's a place that there are whispers in the place that something odd is going on. Maybe,
Uh,
something
uh,
something haunting there.
uh.
And I think I've been watching too much of Game of Thrones. So no, well, but anyway, it's a mystic story, and it it did remind me of Nick Cave's Where the Wild Roses
Yeah,
Grow. Yeah, it's also quite like a beautiful song, but then when you listen to the lyrics, you go like, "Oh,
yeah.
shoot, no, it's not beautiful anymore. It's Beauty and the Beast in the same context." But so the story is quite mixed in the song. Music is quite simple and easy. It has this roots vibe in this song, and I think probably the blues listeners will find uh, find a lot from this particular rhythm in this song. And yeah, so it is a cool song. I like it as well.
Are there any other songs on the album, if you had to choose one more that you would like to emphasize?
We spoke about Going to Hell Abyss, Smell the Roses.
We last spoke, you've been on Finland's Masked Singer. What was that experience like?
It was brilliant. I loved it. It was so much fun to get to dress up and be in front of TV cameras anonymously.
Ah,
Nobody knew who you are.
yes.
Of course, there are these judges who trying to suggest who is behind the mask, and it was so cool to do it. And I got to choose most of the songs where what I was singing there, and I chose Metallica, Master of Puppets, Kate Bush, Running Up That Hill, Jeff Buckley's Hallelujah. Great songs, and it was so fun to do the program, and I was dressed up as a skeleton, and it was fun. It was a mystic, just a slightly scary skeleton figure, not too scary, because you have kids in the audience. Of course, it's for the whole family,
Yes.
the program, and so it was a lot of fun. I love doing this kind of projects. They really open up your mind and eyes and give something new for your performances. So
Mm.
maybe you'll be seeing me with some kind of a skeleton outfit running around the stage in the future.
Has Hallelujah become a fixed part of your live set?
We played that song on my Blue Christmas tour in December
Uh-huh.
because I released a single of that song. Uh, it's a beautiful yet a bit mixed song, isn't it?
Mm.
So it was, but I like the quirky songs as well. Like, you
Mm.
need to kind of think the lyrics and the the mood in the songs. So we played that on my Christmas tour, yeah, and it was nice to
Uh-huh.
play.
You've supported a huge number of huge acts, Wishbone Ash, Walter Trout, Joan Bonamassa, John Mayall, Santana, Bonnie Raitt. It's incredible, really. Um, if I had to ask you for one anecdote now that springs to mind when I mention those names, could you choose one?
Just one word.
Just one anecdote, one little story that maybe makes you feel happy.
Oh, well, I was just recently thinking about the meeting with Carlos Santana. You know, all these amazing guitar players. It's interesting to watch them play. Even sometimes if I've been had a chance to play with some of these
Mm,
world famous uh, guitarists. So it's always so interesting to watch how they are. And it's not always about that if they are the best players or best fastest guitar players, but sometimes it's they might have like good advices for the life being and about humanity. And that's what I got from Carlos. You know, I get to be on stage with him like half an hour, and I got to be with him on his private backstage for half an hour.
mm.
And it's really hard to say which one I learned the most of. Maybe even the time with him on his backstage, just listening to his wisdom and his own ideas and the perspective of life. I think that was really interesting and uh, important.
Aha. What was his perspective of life?
Well, well, one thing what he said to me is like doing my blues, my music in modern times, make it work with the modern times, and that's what I've. That's if you go and listen to his all the albums since 1960s, he's been doing. They've been always in the time. It's
Mm.
always something new. You go forward and don't stick with the old. Try to always improve yourself as a musician. I think that is so important. That's what I'm trying to do on my albums as well, like on Smell the Roses.
I know, of course, you've also played with Jennifer Batten on your album Another World. I was just wondering, do you have any more collaborations planned with her or with anybody else in the future?
Well, it's funny you ask that because, well, every now and then we keep on writing with Jenny. We're like, hey, we should do something together again. And yeah, so it's something that we both enjoyed.
Mm,
It's great to have her on the album. And Sonny Landreth, of course, I'm a really huge fan of Sonny.
mm.
And it's crazy how fast time really goes. And I was first thinking if I would have asked people to play on this album too, but this album just happened so quickly. Suddenly it was finished, and I thought like, okay, maybe the next one we'll have uh guest artist or something like that. But yeah, I like collaborating. I do that actually every year when I do my Blue Christmas tour. Then I have two other artists
Ah,
joining with me. So on this last year, I had Pekko Käppi, who is a bowstring player, and Noora Louhimo from Battle Beast Band.
uh-huh.
So so it was really cool. But yeah, collaborations are good. You learn a lot from those.
Smell the Roses is released on March the 28th. What are you most looking forward to about the launch?
Well, I'm so happy with the album.
Mm,
So I'm pretty sure um, my listeners will also like it because they kind of probably they've already heard that the development and the direction where I've been going to since Stolen Heart album. It's
mm.
more progressive and it's more heavy and going toward hard rock style. Um, but I really hope that people will have fun time listening to the album and they come to see the shows. And of course, it's gonna be fun to start the tours and coming to UK in April for 12 dates in a row. That's gonna be a nice task. And then start to play the songs live because it's such a different thing to record in the studio and just be there uh, and and but then when you go on stage and you have to make those songs work for the live set as well. So that's a different thing. But I don't feel pressure about it because we already practiced the songs in our sound checks last year on our
Mm,
European tour.
mm,
So, and we were on tour as a trio, so just a three-piece band, guitar, bass, and drums.
mm,
And I could hear that these songs will definitely work
mm,
on stage as well. And we are not using any backing tracks. Many bands do. A lot of
mm,
rock and heavy bands even. They use a lot of backing tracks.
mm.
But I haven't done that yet, and probably won't. But yeah, I know it's guitar music. It's gonna work. It's gonna be fun, and there's a lot of catchy and punchy guitar riffs in the songs. I think people will find themselves moving in the audience
If I
for the
remember
rhythm.
correctly, the tour kicks off in Oxford, and
Yes.
as you said, it's one day after the other and after the other. Do you choose that level of intensity on purpose?
Well, sometimes it just happens like that. You go like, oh, um, I usually uh, talk with my production manager like, okay, please, maybe we can have one off day in a week or something like that. But sometimes it goes like that. Like in September we had September October we did 17 shows in 20 days, and that included all the traveling to the Europe and back.
Mm,
So that was intense.
mm.
So 12 days a row, you kind of, once you get the first 3 days down, then
Yes,
you're in that wheel and you just keep on going, going, going. It's quite easy because uh
a rhythm to it, I suppose.
there's a rhythm to it, and it's so you kind of get used to that, and soon it'll be over, and then you go back home to sleep and exercise because probably there's no time for that. So, but UK is brilliant. I love playing in the UK. You really feel that people who come to the shows, uh, it's the music country. The history, the British rock music history, it's huge, and blues music history. So so I feel satisfaction when playing in the UK audiences. It's like they really appreciate live music and loud guitars.
Aria, it's always lovely to talk to you. Best of luck with your new album, which I think is a great album, and your tour.
Thank you so much, Paul, for having me. Okay, bye bye.